Hello and welcome to the second part of how to make Illustrator your bitch. Today we are going to go over layers, because layers are fantastic and they are also very confusing in Illustrator. They are very similar to Photoshop, but there's some key differences that you need to keep in mind, and there's just some few tips and tricks I think will help you with making some sweet art and dealing with layers so that you're not going to pull your hair out, because it definitely gets to be a lot. So I'm going to take you over my man the layers box right here, because it's going to be your best friend as long as you know Illustrator or basically any Adobe product ever. So as you know, the eye is pretty simple. Click it on and off. You see your layer, now you don't. The little box next to it is your lock. That means you lock the layer. So if it's locked, you can't do anything. Nope. This little blue guy right here is in reference to what color your path line is, which is blue. And that's just so that whenever I make a path, and if I have multiple layers going on, I can keep them separated. Every time you make a new layer, it's going to make a new color and so on. And as you just saw what I did, to make a new layer, you just click this little notepad, post-it note looking thing, new layer. Simple. To delete it, this little trash can. Straightforward again. Where things are going to differ a little bit is with this little arrow guy right here. When you click it down, it opens up your layer, because in Illustrator, unlike Photoshop, every mark you make is a layer within a layer. It's basically like the inception of the art making world. So let's say I have a little blob tool and I'm just going to make that shape. It's going to show up. But if I do something else, that's going to show up, that's going to show up. Everything's a separate layer, which can get really confusing because you're like, oh wow, that's exactly like this and that kind of, is that part of what, it gets confusing. So, my first tip to you is going to be name everything. You can just double click on it and be like, hey, this is the smile, and this is left eye, and this is right eye, whatever. And so every time you know it, you're like, oh, that's what that guy is, It's very helpful to know, because while it's very, very helpful to be able to change and have an account for everything you do, it can also get very confusing after you have 90 layers built up and there's 1,000 pieces within it. It gets to be a madhouse. So just keep everything in order and just name everything. Name your main layers and all your paths. It'll just save you from a big of a headache. Another little change is that there's these little circle guys over here, and this is going to help select whatever path you made. So if I just click it, the smile isn't selected. It's not directly selecting it. So instead, what you do is you click the little circle, and a little blue circle, a little blue square, indicates selected art. So that means, oh look, there's that little bounding box there, and now I can move it, and blah blah blah, it's beautiful. Now he's really happy. And there's also one next to your main layer, which is always top. It's always going to be in the gray bar, And if you select that one, you'll see a little blue square goes next to all of them. And now everything's selected, and I can move it, and whoa! Awesome. So yeah, that's how you select things, is going to be the circle. Just clicking this isn't going to do anything. Double clicking it just gets you this box to name it. So anyways, I don't want these dudes. Alright. So we have my main man Caterpie over here because I am a part of a Pokemon art blog, and we have to go through all 150 Pokemon and in order, so you can't skip any and go to your favorites. So right now I'm on Caterpie, and he's pretty sweet. Give him some sweet shades to kind of liven things up. But I thought he'd be a really good example of how to work with layers in Illustrator, because his body is basically like little paper cutout, everything stacked on top of each other, and that's how you work with layers in Illustrator. Everything is stacked on top. You make one shape and layer it on top of the other. So another tip I'm going to give you is lock everything you're not currently working with. Because once I make my new layer and I'm about to, you know, make more shapes, I don't want to, you know, sometimes if you accidentally click on another path from another layer, it'll mistake it that you're trying to connect the two, or it'll put it in that layer. And it'll cause a whole bunch of confusion that you don't want, so just lock everything. But see, now I'm going to start making some paths, and I'm going to start with the head, because, you know, it's a pretty easy place to start. I think where a lot of people probably start. Just gonna get my basic Caterpie green. You know, if you don't get the right color right away. So the nice thing about Illustrator is that every shape is so customizable afterwards that it doesn't matter if you get everything exact now. I just have my green color and I'm going to fill in my little head shape. That's gonna be my first shape because it is the base of the head. You know, I can build the snout and the eyes and the antler off of it. It's gonna be good. So look at there. I'm gonna open up my little arrows, be like base, so that I know that's there. And see, as soon as I start to make another path, it's just gonna layer it on there. So I'm gonna make it a little darker just so I can tell the difference right now, but oh man, I can't see where my snout is. Where do I start? Something really quick, really easy you're gonna be using a lot. Just go press V or click your little black arrow, click your base, select it, go up here to where it says opacity. You can just lower it down just so you can see through it. And you can always change it later, you know, it's not going to stay that way permanently. You can go back and be like, oh, I want to see what it looks like. And everything's, you know, full. And always remember to click your circle if you want to select it, so you can see the opacity of that shape, and then you can mess around. But right now, I'm just going to keep it there. So I know the color's there, but I can see everything. So now I'm going to go off and I'm going to make a shape. I'm gonna make his snout just really quickly right here. Oh yeah, that Caterpie's rocking in the free world. There, we got a beautiful snout. And next I want to do his antenna, because if I do the glasses next and then I did the antenna would be poking out from above the glasses. We don't want that, so just kind of think in layers, you know, go from bottom to top, just keep building up. And I mean, you don't technically have to, because once you have layers, you can switch things. You can just drag this up so that other things become prominent instead, you know, but you can always rearrange them. But just for sake of keeping your own sanity, it's nice to do that. And also name it Snout. Anyways, gonna start with the little antler, or whatever it is that is. It looks like an antler to me, or like a slingshot. I was kind of thinking of making him like a little slingshot, like a little kid like holding him, gonna flick something at someone, but no, Caterpie glasses does the job. At the end of the day, that's all you need. And he's rocking out to our music. Our music's pretty sweet. We got some Queen going on. We got, you know, some Talking Heads going on. So, you know, good music for some good tutorials. Awesome. Alright, beautiful. So I have my basis of my head. Because I want to put my glasses on a separate layer. So I'm going to lock that, start a new layer, and see now it's green. So my path's can be green. And be like, glasses. And you know, after this point, it's pretty repetitive. Like, this is the process in Illustrator. Is, you know, you just kind of build one thing on top of another, just label, and then lock it. Because labeling things and then locking them is going to save you so much hassle. Because when you look back and you see everything, you're like, wait, is that part of this? Where is that in the green? And there's, you know, you're gonna get so confused. It's just gonna be nice to be like, oh yeah, now I know this is like antler part. This is antler. Great. And then glasses. Here's where I'm going to show you something kind of helpful. It's very similar to what we did with the base head with the opacity. But I'm going to show you how to change the opacity of a path while you're working on it. Because let's say, you know, we're doing good, we're making our little shape here, we're making our little glasses. But holy shit, because it kind of fills in as you go, like, I can't see where anything connects now. All I have to do is press V, or, you know, select your little black arrow tool again, click on the path you're working on and just lower the opacity down. And then go back to your pen tool. Then go back to your last anchor. And you see you have your little split handlebar, so that means you can continue on going. And now I can like see where I'm going, you know. I can always change the opacity back to full later on, but it's just nice, so I'm like not blinding myself. It's a simple but easy trick. That's how Illustrator is in general. It's a lot of stuff that it seems complicated and it seems like, oh, it's all this work, but after a while you're like, this is so easy. This is way easier than like anything. Let's see, like now if I want to click it, I can bring its opacity back up. Wow! And like, let's say I want to go back and I want to see the base as full opacity. I'm going to click that, go back up to my opacity, and see, this is how my Caterpie's looking so far. I can even, you know, look at it without, whoa, Caterpie head, beautiful. You know, and that's basically the layering system. You know, I could go through the rest of this Caterpie and do the whole damn Caterpie, but it'll take a while, and trust me, it's going to be really repetitive and really boring. Because this is the basics of layering. Is basically, you know, kind of know what it is, you know, use this to change visibility, use this to lock layers. These colors indicate the color of your path, see red, and, you know, green, all that fun stuff. And then of course you have the arrow to show you the rest of your paths. Remember to name them, and you can always move them around if you want for some reason. You select everything. There are these little circles. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics of the layer box, because that's kind of how you're going to build everything. Next time, I'm gonna get into some more advanced things. Just show you a few tips and tricks that I use while making something, maybe putting some finishing touches on. And the video after will probably be incorporating Photoshop with Illustrator. And I don't know if you heard that, that was my little Kiwi. She's really excited about Illustrator, as you can tell. Aren't you, Kiwi? Anyway. That is it for now, so just practice that. Enjoy yourself, and you should visit Pokemonathon at Tumblr, PokemonAthonTumblr.com. It's really awesome. A lot of great artists doing a lot of nostalgic, awesome Pokemon. Nothing's better. And like I said, as for this week's music, it is a mashup of Queen, Talking Heads, and Presidents of the United States. Kind of a random mashup, but it's been one I've been listening to a lot this week, so fun to share some music. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, or, you know, message me or ask me anything on my Tumblr. The links will be down below on the lovely YouTube page. And I hope you find this useful. Let me know what you think, and happy illustrating!